There was a time when trophy hunting in video games meant something truly special. It wasn't just about numbers or checklists. It was about passion, discovery, and mastery. When achievements first arrived, Xbox introduced them in 2005 PlayStation, followed with trophies in 2008. Gamers were fascinated. For the first time, there was a universal system that tracked your progress and rewarded your skill across every game you played. Every ping of a new achievement or flash of a shiny trophy felt like recognition, proof that you'd done something cool, something not everyone else had. It wasn't just about finishing a level, it was about how you played. You might get a trophy for pulling off an insane stunt, discovering a secret area, or surviving a brutal boss fight. And those little digital rewards carried weight. They told a story, your story, as a player. Back then, trophies made games feel deeper. They encouraged you to look closer, to experiment, to explore. Maybe you'd beat the main campaign, then realize you'd only scratched the surface. A hidden trophy might tempt you to play in a completely different way. And that's what made it great. It extended the life of a game you already loved. You weren't playing for an algorithm or checklist. You were playing for that satisfying moment when a rare trophy popped and you thought, yes, I earned that one. In the early days, trophy hunting felt like an adventure in itself. Players would gather online to swap tips, form communities, and show off their platinums. Each platinum meant something. It was proof that you had truly mastered a game from start to finish. It gave you a kind of reputation, a sense of belonging in this new shared gaming culture. In a way, it turned single-player gaming into something social. But as time went on, something changed. The fun, the thrill, it started to fade. What used to be a celebration of discovery slowly turned into a grind, a chore, and, for a lot of players, a source of frustration rather than joy. Simon Hill, in his Wired article, The Joy and Misery of Hunting for Video Game Trophies, talks about spending hours trying to unlock a single trophy in Days Gone, one that required drifting a bike with nitro for 5 seconds. Sounds simple enough, right? A bike with nitro for 5 seconds. Sounds simple enough, right? But he kept failing over and over again until he finally looked up a guide online. And we finally did earn it. He didn't feel triumphant. He just felt relieved. That's dark side of trophy hunting, when a moment that should feel like victory starts to feel like work. And Hill isn't alone. Across gaming forums and trophy hunting communities, you'll find the same story again and again. Players say they used to love chasing trophies, but now they feel trapped by them. Instead of exploring freely, they're constantly worrying about missing an achievement or having to replay hours of content. Some even say it ruins games for them, that they can't just enjoy the story or gameplay anymore because all they can think about is the next trophy. A big reason for this is repetition. Endless, mind-numbing repetition. Trophies used to be creative. Now, too many of them are just about grinding. Defeat 10,000 enemies. Collect every single item. Play the game 3 times. It's not about skill or discovery anymore. It's about endurance. How much time are you willing to waste for a digital badge? This repetition drains the fun right out of gaming. It's like when you love a song so much you play it non-stop, until one day you realize you can't stand hearing it anymore. Trophy hunting has that same effect. At first, the chase feels exciting. But after hours or days of doing the same thing, you start to lose sight of why you were doing it in the first place. Developers have even admitted they went too far with it. In the early 2010s, there was this belief that trophies made games more valuable, that if you added more achievements, players would play more. But that logic backfired. More trophies didn't mean more fun, it just meant more filler. Some were so tedious or so difficult that they alienated players completely. Eventually, studios realized that if a game feels like a job, people stop playing. And yet, even as developers have tried to rebalance things, that sense of grind never fully went away. Trophy hunting still attracts completionists, people who just can't stand leaving something unfinished. But for many of them, the joy has been replaced by pressure. The sense of wonder is gone, replaced by anxiety and fatigue. Still, it's important to remember why it used to be so special. In those early years, there was something pure about it. When you finally got a platinum in a game like Uncharted or Dark Souls, you knew you'd earned it. You'd fought through every challenge, learned every mechanic, and pushed your skills to the limit. That feeling of accomplishment was genuine, and it stayed with you. Trophies gave meaning to perseverance. They rewarded dedication, not just time spent. And that's something a lot of players miss today. But now, the whole idea of trophy hunting, that sense of prestige and exclusivity, is fading fast. Back in the day, being a trophy hunter was like being part of an elite club. You'd look up to people who had insane completion rates. People like Hakum, or Rough Dog 4 names mentioned in the Wired article, who spent thousands of hours building their collections. They were legends in that world. But today, the scene looks very different. For one, the market has been flooded with what people call easy platinum games. Cheap titles designed purely to hand out trophies in minutes. You can buy a $2 game and earn a platinum just for pressing a button or walking forward. That completely kills the prestige. What once symbolized skill now often just means you had time or money to burn. And that's a shame, because it cheapens the hard work of people who actually earned their platinums the real way. Even dedicated hunters are burning out. On forums like PSN Profiles, you'll see long-time players saying they've stepped away from trophy hunting altogether. They realized it stopped being fun, that it turned their hobby into homework. Many now only go for trophies in games they truly love. That's a big cultural shift. What used to be a thriving competitive community is slowly shrinking as more players walk away. Developers are changing their approach too. Some have admitted that grindy trophy lists were a mistake. Others are now acknowledging achievements that align more naturally with how players actually play. A 2022 study on achievement design found that modern games tend to include fewer low-level trophies and more high-value, meaningful ones. That's progress, but it also means the old-school hunters, the ones who loved chasing dozens of small milestones, are finding less to chase. In a sense, the system is evolving, but not necessarily in a way that preserves what made it special. And then there are the technical issues, the kind that make trophy hunting even more frustrating. Online trophies, for instance, often depend on multiplayer servers. When those servers shut down, which happens more and more as games age, those trophies become permanently unobtainable. Imagine spending months become permanently unobtainable. Imagine spending months working toward a platinum, only to find out that a server closure makes it impossible. For completionists, that's devastating. It's like training for a marathon only to find out the finish line doesn't exist anymore. All of these things, the grind, the burnout, the cheap platinums, the server shutdowns, have chipped away at the meaning of trophy hunting. The culture that once celebrated challenge and mastery now struggles under the weight of repetition and oversaturation. And that's sad, because at its best, trophy hunting represented the purest form of gaming dedication. Not just playing for the ending, but for the journey, the mastery, and the satisfaction of saying, I did it all. These days, trophy hunting feels split. On one side, there are casual players who see trophies as a nice bonus, a little dopamine hit when they appear. On the other, there are still the hardcore hunters, those who push themselves to 100% every game they touch. But even many of them admit that it's not what it used to be. The spark, the sense of wonder, is fading. What was once a community built on challenge has become cluttered by repetition and shortcuts. So maybe it's time to rethink what achievements are supposed to mean. Maybe the real joy of gaming was never about collecting digital icons, it was about the experiences they represented. The time you spent perfecting a boss fight, discovering a secret, or overcoming a challenge with sheer determination. Those moments are still what gaming is all about. The trophies were just a reflection of them, a way to make those invisible victories visible. At its best, trophy hunting gave us purpose and pride. At its worst, it became a grind that sucked the life out of something we loved. Even now, buried under the repetition and burnout, the heart of it, the thrill of achievement, is still there. Maybe what players want isn't more trophies or bigger lists. Maybe what they really want is for those rewards to mean something again, to bring back that sense of discovery, of pride, of personal triumph. Because in the end, that's what gaming and trophy hunting was always supposed to be about. Not endless repetition, not artificial goals, but moments of real accomplishment. That feeling when the trophy pops and you smile, not because you checked off another box, but because you did something you didn't think you could do. That's what made trophy hunting special, and maybe, just maybe, it still can be again.